Okay, so yeah, as Abby just mentioned, she's noticing that, we'll just hop right in. She's noticing that lately, especially very recently, probably since the political stuff started, I would guess, that she's noticing that lots of times some social media posts and stuff are not getting nearly the same traction or interaction as what they usually would. And that loops me right into a point that I wanted to make, that it's funny because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like what is happening right now is very reminiscent of spring. Like everything feels like everyone's emotions are going to the same place. And now it's almost heightened because we've all been through it before. We all know it's not going to be just a week. And we have holidays, and a lot of us have to cancel trips now, right? So, like all the things. So, I'm going back to what I learned the first time that I went through this, because whew, yeah, and that's always good to do, right? And the same thing happened this spring for a myriad of reasons. The first is that during times like this, there are a lot of people that literally will just disconnect from social media because of lots of times the negativity, or because they're one of those people that just got a whole bunch of new things thrown on their lap and they literally just don't have the time like they used to, right? Whether it be kids at home or they're in health industry, whatever it be. So that's one reason why there probably literally are less people online than there were before. The second reason is a lot of people are no longer in the space, the headspace, to be able to encourage others. They are like emotionally, I don't want this to be like a downer call. I promise I'll lift it back up. But the truth is, a lot of people who don't have the resources and the support and the outlets are really feeling down. So if it's not a post that's making them feel like you're also in a pit, then it's harder for them to be happy for you or to see, right? Like it's just emotionally, people are just very raw. So where before maybe someone would be like, oh, I'm happy for her. Now people are not so easily doing that just because they're struggling themselves, right? Which loops me into why what we do is even more important now. Even if you're not getting people who are liking or loving on your stuff, they're still saying it, and it's making a bigger impact now than it was before. Because if you are able to be able to come on social media now and still have hope and still be on track and still be preaching the same things, like, sure, we're going to be sensitive to what's going on. We're going through it too, but it is so much more impactful for people to realize that this isn't just something that we do when it's convenient. This isn't just something that works some of the time. This is something that literally can breathe life into you and make you be able to cope with whatever goes on around you, right? Like, I just have found that, yes, we need to be sensitive in what we post and how, but our messaging really doesn't have to change. And actually, it just amplifies everything that we've been offering and showing how truly beneficial it is for lots of reasons, not just to look a certain way, but to literally feel good, have energy, all the things, have an outlet, have a community. I mean, I get all fired up thinking about it because I know that now. So I was thinking about it today, and I really feel like looking at where we are right now, I feel like what we have is the Super Bowl on the horizon for our industry and for our businesses. Because I can tell you, when I went through COVID, I saw a huge spike of new people. And anytime you have that, like, it'll go down a little bit again, but your business will be bigger than before we started. And that is for lots of reasons. First of all, because of, again, another kind of round of COVID and people being home, gyms are closing, all the things. So there just naturally be more people who need a solution that's in their house, that's readily available, that want a community that maybe didn't need it before, all the same reasons. So that's the first. Secondly, it's New Year's coming up. Like, that naturally has people focusing on their health. And thirdly, we have an autumn program. Autumn historically has been one of the biggest. She's besides Shanti, she's the biggest, has the most name recognition, and just putting like that, a couple, I think I put 1 or 2 posts out to like my general Facebook group of like historical customers and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of people that didn't always jump on new releases getting excited about this because it's 30 minutes a day, because they're not scared by the equipment. Actually, they're kind of excited that it gets looped into the packages at a decent price. Like it's amazing. So really, I thought an auto program is already going to be big. And then now if we have COVID and New Year's and all the things, I'm like, if there was ever a time to prioritize your business, it's now. Even if you're seeing crickets, it'll come around. And those people are all watching. They are. And there are actually, it's hard to say whether there's less people or more people on social media. I would say there's less people interacting. But
They're still watching stories. Like if I look at my viewers, they're still the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever number of people.
So
So
I
they're
mean, I
still
know,
watching.
yeah. So I know before I said there was less people on, and I think there are less people on for some reasons, but I think there will be more people on for other reasons because now kids' activities are done, so parents will be on more than what they were. And holidays, a lot of people aren't getting together for the holidays, so they're not traveling, so it might even out in numbers. But I'm just saying interactions will probably be down just because of the way.
Or I just think they're not liking on your post, but they're still watching what you're doing.
Exactly. So yeah, for all those reasons, I really see a lot of benefit and hope and impact that we can make if we stay the course. Because I know that, especially the first time around, it's easy to get kind of emotionally with everyone else on this big roller coaster. and if you're
love company, so if you're trying to be positive, people are like, screw man, I don't want to hear that.
Right. No, really, like they're intrigued by it. They're annoyed by it. I was the same way before I joined. It wasn't during this season of COVID craziness, but I was annoyed as crap by like Amber's positivity. But at the end of the day, I kind of wanted that in my life. So I joined her, right? That's how it works. So of course, don't be fake, but try to share light and hope because that's what people need to see. So always spin it. Like, sure, be real. By the end of the post, though, try to spin it, find the positives because that's what we're trying to do all the time, right? To keep ourselves sane. Anyways, let me see. Oh, and another thing, another reason why this should and will increase all of our businesses and our impact is there's no doubt in my mind that there will be a lot more Beachbody leads coming through the system. And if you haven't been around a long time, you might not know how that works, but anytime that you hit Success Club, then you are qualified to get Beachbody leads in the next month. So if you hit Success Club this month, in the month of November, then you will get Beachbody leads next month in December. So that is a big reason why I mean, and another differentiator is if you hit Success Club 5, then you just get the names and the email addresses and future orders from the leads. But if you hit Success Club 10, then you get not only their names and everything else, but you get their commissions on their initial orders and all future orders. So that's a big difference between Success Club 5 and Success Club 10. But either way, because Autumn's program is launching in December, and then because we have New Year's in January, I think hitting Success Club in October and November and December, I would do your darnest to make it happen because it will. That's the kind of stuff like at first when I started, it was like, what, these leads aren't responding to me. And I was only his Success Club 5, so I wasn't even getting the commissions off their initial orders. And so I was like, what is the point? But as most things happen in this business, the longer that you hit it, the more people that you have, the more beneficial it is. Because now I have around 400 people that are just from Beachbody, their leads. So I have them in like an email list, and I at least now I get at least 4 or 6 points, Success Club points every month from leads, whether it be random that they just order Shakeology or Performance on auto ship and I get Success Club points off of it and commissions and everything else, or it's because they responded to an email blast that I did. So at first, for the probably first year, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, why I care about these leads, but like everything else, yeah, with numbers comes more impact. And now it's really fun because I get to actually like meet some of these people who I otherwise would never meet, because they're happening into my groups and it's fun. So anyways, those are my, that's that. Is there anything, let me, let's see what else I have. Oh, and then in regard to lead generator ideas, because a lot of times it's hard to like, I have one already written for tonight that you guys can read through once I finally post it. But high level, what I find to be the most impactful during times like this is to, again, be real and honest about your emotions and where you're at with everything. And the powerful part is highlighting why you're better off because of what we have. And just highlighting something, whether it be our communities, whether it be being able to work out at home, whether it be having some like routine that that you don't have to think about. Because really, when you have kids at home and everything else, it's like being able to like know you have something structured in your day is like magic. I really think community is a huge thing right now, but whatever it is for you, whether it be because you feel healthier and have more energy, whether you have, the positivity, whatever it is, like just think about what really helps me write lead generators and take action and invite people and do all the other things is really thinking about where I would be if I didn't have this. If I didn't have these programs, if I didn't have this community, if I didn't have any of this, like, where would I be? And that thought alone, at least for me, is really sad and scary because I really don't know. I know it wouldn't be good. I'd like to think something else would have came along, but I don't know. Because I know emotionally and physically and everything, I was in a dark space. And so like to think about the kind of mom that I would be if I didn't have this, and to think about the kind of wife I would be and the kind of just person, like what I would do at night. None of it would have been productive or positive if I would have kept on that track. So that helps me understand who I'm talking to, because those are the kind of people that I want to reach. And then again, thinking about, okay, so what can I highlight that is tangible that we have that has helped me that could help them, and just talking about that. So that's kind of how I think through lead generators. And just, I find that those speak to people where they're at, and gives them something to hope for, to realize what has actually helped you be where you are today, right? Oh, I also, go ahead, Abby.
Oh, I was thinking 9-week control freak. Is
Yeah.
there like a sample workout out yet? Or when does all of that stuff? I had somebody ask me about it today. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So I looked at the whole toolkit that's posted in the coach office, because there is one up there now. And on the calendar, it shows a scheduled, let me look at the exact verbiage that they use, but I thought they called it a sneak peek, not a sample. So I don't know if they're calling it something else, or if it's literally like another like teaser video, but not an actual workout. I thought they said something about, I feel like they're still figuring all this out, to be perfectly honest, because they just decided this week that they weren't going to offer a digital access only option, which they've always done in the past. So this is the first program launch that they're going to have an accessories bundle, but they're not going to have a digital access only, because they want to make it very clear to people that you need the accessories, you need the equipment to do this workout. And they don't want people, nickel and diming and going to Amazon and doing all the other things, especially since it's New Year's. And, it's a 9-week program. That's another big thing. A lot of our programs lately have been more like 3 weeks, 6 weeks. Like, this is a 9-week program. So as coaches, we're investing a lot of time and energy for these people for 9 weeks. So honestly, I see it as them kind of protecting us in our time to make sure that in order to get into these initial test groups, that they're at least getting an accessories bundle from us to invest in themselves and in our businesses for us to support them for a full 9 weeks. So I saw it at first, I was like, whoa, that's a big change. But once I thought about it, it does make a lot of sense. If we're telling them that they need this equipment, then there's no reason why we should offer them a package that doesn't include it. Right?
Right.
Let me see what I called. I think it was, I don't remember what date it was either. Oh, here we go. They called it a first look on November 30th. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a sample or a first look. And honestly, once I thought about it, I was like, I kind of hope that it's just another teaser video, because so often people will say they want to do it and they say they want to try the sample and then they'll never get around to trying the sample. So then they'll immediately think, well, I'm clearly not ready to do this because I've never tried the sample. Right? Like it gives them a reason not to commit to it. When the truth is, like, if anyone gives you anything for free, you're way less likely to actually do it because you have no skin in the game. And you have no one, like, you know what I mean? Like, I love samples on one end because it does help on some aspects. But I feel like a program like this, like if you have a good teaser video, you don't need a sample. And I mean, another reason why I think they might not do a sample is because they didn't want to have a sample that you could do without the equipment, because then it leads people to think that they could do it without the equipment, which again is not the ideal. Like, if you want the results, if you want to do it, like, don't modify and try to do whatever you're doing with what you got. Like, get the equipment, let's go. So yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. I haven't heard for sure. I know if there is going to be a sample, it's just going to be cardio, because again, they don't want to modify things and make you feel like you can do it without. But maybe because now that there's not a digital access only option, now maybe they'll do a cardio sample, because you have to get the equipment if you want early access, right?
Because the coach early access is what, December 7th?
December 7th, yeah.
And then when is it open for customers? Like the 21st?
They can purchase on, so 21st they can purchase. And yeah, because of the equipment being so necessary and because of shipping, for the first time, most of us aren't even starting a group until January. And I think that's why they started purchasing so early, because a lot of us are like, whoa, purchasing before Christmas, that seems a little silly. But considering shipping and the equipment being necessary and everything else, genius. Genius.
I don't know if you follow Autumn on Instagram, but she's had some videos more recently about 9 Week Control Freak, and she talks about that, how they intentionally did that.
Yeah, no, I think that was really smart, because it puts less pressure on us to like get everyone's orders in right away, and hopefully will ease the burden on Beachbody too, to not feel like they're turning around thousands and thousands of them on day one in order for people to start, you know.
Do you think we'll do a separate group for that? Or what are you thinking about that? Or what do you think about that?
My thought is, I loved how he did MBF. I thought that went really well. So I was thinking, but I'm always like a creature of whatever worked, keep doing it. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. But yeah, I was thinking to do like our team have a separate bod group for those who purchase 9 Week Control League access. And again, it'd be kind of the thing where for those of us who have another community, then people can double post if they want, just so that everyone has something to post to.
Because there's definitely people out there who like that. Because I just had somebody ask me again, "Are you doing another MBF?"
Yeah.
Or whatever, and I said, "Oh, not right now," but
yeah. I mean, yeah, I know people love that. So I was thinking for sure it's a 9-week program, so that's a long time. My thought process as I was thinking through it is you kind of break the 9 weeks into phases. And I think Autumn does that too, into 3 phases. What's that, Abby?
I think she does, yeah.
Right.
Like
So then my
every
thought
single week?
process is I would assume all coaches that would add customers would help do the daily posts, right? And as assuming that the challenge group guide is as good as what they've been, that we could largely use that, right?
Mhm.
And we would start prep on January 4th, because there's usually a whole prep week in the challenge group guide too. And then we can officially start day one on January 11th. And then every phase, so every 3 weeks, we would use that as an opportunity to add new members. But our post would still go through the full 9 weeks, right? So it's kind of like MBF in that, like, we added people halfway through and they just went to day
Mhm.
one, even though our post kept going. And I think that makes sense because honestly, every time the first group is the biggest. No matter how much you promote it before, during, or after, like the first group of people that you put in there is usually the largest. So that's why I want to make sure that the daily posts follow them through. And I did find that with MBF, people told me that it was really inspiring that were new to see people that were on further on in their journey. Right. Like, so it wasn't like they were feeling like, oh, they missed out. They were thinking, oh my gosh, like that inspires me to keep going because our group is awesome about sharing their progress and sharing how much stronger they feel than before, right? So I have found that new people actually enjoyed being plugged into an existing group that was further along. So I was seeing it as a benefit versus like having to start a whole new group every time, you wanted new people in there. So I was thinking, yeah, every 3 weeks, you would have the opportunity to add new people, and introduce them, and just, of course, tell them to start at day one, but the video post would still going. Because I felt like with the challenge group guide, like, yes, they would say something specific about the day of the workout that you were doing, but effectively, like, there was always a nutritional check-in or a tip or trick that would be applicable to you no matter what part of the journey that you're in, right? So that was kind of my thought. And then I just make sure to I'm putting together, I'm really excited about it, a prep. It's like a pretty prep PDF. It's like a whole bunch of pages, but it effectively walks people through like all the resources that they have access to and like how to plug into them. Because right now I just send them a giant email with like 10
Mhm.
things, and this is nutrition, and this is your workouts, and this is make sure to do your pictures. And like, it's just a novel because I've always been intending to make it pretty. Well, I'm not hoping, I will, by the time 9 week control freak, I will have this um, much prettier PDF that will actually show them visuals of like, this is what nutrition, looks like. This is the ultimate portion fix, 2B mindset. And I'm trying to keep it simple so it's not super overwhelming, but at the same time, give them an idea of all the resources that they have access to in a much more visually friendly way than just a giant email that just overwhelms them.
Yeah, that would
Anyways,
be good.
I say all that because then it helps me when I know that people are getting plugged in without a whole prep week. Because if they have that, and that's pretty much the prep week, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, I worry like I'm plugging people in without any guidance and they don't know what they're
Right.
doing. But if I am able to give them that resource, then I feel pretty comfortable and confident plugging them in, to an existing group that's already learning. So that's another thing. Okay, and another thing. Wow, I really thought it was going to be a short call, but I always have more things. Another thing I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about, are upcoming opportunities to plug anyone in that you think would be interested in coaching. And as you can imagine, after everything that I just said, this is a great time to start coaching if anyone's thought about it, because of the demand that's coming up, because of how it helps you stay accountable, all the things, right? So if you have anyone that you've been thinking of that they, I mean, whether they're customers now or not, even if they're just in your genuine life, people that you think would be fun to coach with, people who you think you'd love to like be on calls like this or on retreats, like people who would love this too. I would consider reaching out to them now. Because again, now it seems crazy with the holidays, but this is when I started coaching, to be honest. It was December that I started my business. So although it seems crazy with the holidays and people being busy, they also are often thinking about a way to earn some extra income, especially with COVID. and holiday gifts and all the things. So like the need is there income wise, and anyone can rationally think about how the demand is going to be up, right? With an autumn program and everything else. So anyways, next opportunities for people to learn more is this Sunday already. This Sunday, Amber is going to be hosting a simple, I think she's thinking a half hour live, we're calling it like a coach 411 call. It'll be over Zoom. And it's really going to be focused on the business opportunity and answering all those frequently asked questions. What is the investment? How long does it take? Or what kind of a time commitment is it? How do you earn money? Just, all the things that people wonder about, like, what are the requirements? What do I actually do as a coach? All those things. So if you have anyone, especially that is like Abby, I'm looking at you like type A, but looking for it as a business opportunity, right? Like those people who aren't emotionally driven and don't want to fulfill them, right? Like the people who literally would look at this as a business opportunity to make money. This is the kind of call that I would plug them into. Or people who have been thinking about it, but had some of those nagging questions. She's also going to talk about being like nervous on social media and all of those things. And yeah, anyone, let me know. I haven't shared that Zoom link yet, but again, half hour, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Zoom call, half hour. Amber's doing most of the talking. So super simple. Now, also, I plan on running for our small team, team sneak peek group in early December. It will have a very completely different feel than Amber's call. So that's why I say, like, you kind of have to think about your recruits and who you're talking to and how they're driven. Maybe they need to be plugged into both. Maybe they just need one. You make the call based on who you're talking to. I was planning on doing this sneak peek group when we're in Mexico, but I'm not positive Mexico is going to happen anymore in 2 or 3 weeks, which don't even get me started on that. I lost count of the number of trips and retreats that we have earned that we can't go on. So I don't know if that's going to happen anymore, but I'm committing that whether we're at Mexico or not, we need to have a sneak peek group in our team. I have found them, the last one that we did, actually, I think Abby, were you in that? I don't think you had joined yet. And I think Tiffany and I think Rachel, like there was a multiple of you all that were in that sneak peek group. And because of the way that we ran it, or one reason or another, y'all decided to actually join and start taking action after that. So it's high time. That was back in like June or July that we did that. So high time that I do another one. So I will commit to doing it regardless of whether I'm in Mexico or not. Hopefully I'm in Mexico. So that the feel of that coach sneak peek group, if you weren't in there, it will be a week-long Facebook group, and we will have daily posts that are scheduled out. And of course, anyone who adds prospects to it, we can, up to you if you want to help with the posts. But April and Sally and I kind of shared the responsibility last time. So we all really liked the content. We liked how it turned out. So we were planning on probably using a lot of the same content. So I don't perceive it as requiring a lot of extra effort. But our posts, the daily posts are more focused on the basics of coaching. But then we also last time went live separately, sharing more of our coaching journey, our heart for coaching, why we coach, like what our team is about, that kind of stuff. So that's why I say the facts are the same, but we deliver it in a very different way, different feel. So yeah, so 2 opportunities. So as you're talking to people, as you're looking through your list of customers and coaches, as you're just seeing people in real life. And it's funny because, okay, I swear I'm probably going to run out of time here soon. But just for an example, like I never count anyone out of coaching. First of all, because I think if people aren't consistent on their journey, they could use it for accountability. If people need the income, boom, it's there for you then too. And if people are already posting their Beachbody workouts, don't assume that they're already a coach. That was, I think I shared in the chat, an invite that I did to someone on Instagram that had such a crazy awesome transformation, and I could see that she was posting her workouts to stories, but she never had a lead generator. She never tagged anyone. Like you can just tell, like, I'm pretty sure she's just doing this for her own accountability. There's a lot of people out there that do that, believe it or not. And so, yeah, I just reached out to her and I was like, have you ever thought about coaching? She's like, I have, I don't know. Yeah. And then we got started talking about it. She had never been recruited by anybody else. I was like, well, if you're thinking about it, so she's the kind that I'm hopping you on this Zoom call to talk to us just to see a little more. But yeah, so just don't count anyone out, because I really think it's kind of like challenge groups. Before, I found it really easy to invite people to challenge groups because I was like, there's so many benefits to it. And now I feel the same way about coaching. So if you're uncomfortable with it now, because I was for a while, I was really uncomfortable inviting people to coaching. But it just comes down to really thinking about why you benefit from it and why you think they would benefit from it. And then just speaking genuinely and trying to help them, because that's really, whether we're asking them to coach or asking them to join our challenge groups, either way, we clearly think it will benefit and help them. And that's why we're asking them. So that was a lot of rambling. I'm gonna look through my notes. Abby, you let me know if you have anything that you want to talk about.
So quick question, back to the cold leads or whatever that you get once
Yeah.
you hit Success Club.
Yeah.
So let's say I don't hit Success Club this month. Do those disappear then until?
No. You just get new leads. So yeah, that's a good question. So anytime that you hit Success Club, you get those leads that I'm talking about are effectively new people. So every month, more new people that have never had an account with Beachbody order off of either an infomercial or off of beachbody.com, the website. So anytime anyone orders anything from those, like from infomercials or beachbody.com, those people in the following week are assigned, well, I guess in the sorry. So in the week that they made that purchase, or on the day that they made that purchase, that person that signed up for something with Beachbody is assigned to a coach. Everyone gets a coach at Beachbody. So those people are assigned to a coach that hit Success Club the previous month. And then that person stays with them until they quit, effectively. And then if you would quit, then I would get your leads. That's how it works. So it's never like they're never taken back. They stay with you or with your uplines. They keep getting passed, or they.
So then do you get low? So if I don't hit Success Club this month, do I still get new ones next month, or does that stop until you hit Success Club again? Does that make sense?
It stops until you hit Success Club again.
Okay.
Yep. So like every month, if you hit Success Club in a month, then the next month you get those leads. So that's why, like, especially in months where it's harder to hit Success Club, if less coaches hit Success Club, that means you're going to get more leads the next month. So November is historically a hard time for people to hit Success Club. So those coaches that do hit Success Club in November are mathematically going to get more leads, especially in a month like December, where you're going to have more leads than usual coming into the system because everyone wants to join for autumn. So like there's certain months of the year where if it's the hardest to hit it the month of, and the next month is going to have the biggest month for new leads, those are the months, like this month, where it's like really beneficial to try to make it happen, because not only are there less coaches that are making it happen, but the next month you're going to have more leads than usual, if that makes sense. So it's like one of those, every once in a while throughout the year, there's a couple of these I'm like, oh, this is one of them. To make it happen. Because yeah, Amber just shared like ours personally sponsored coaches Success Club board, and there's only 5 of us right now at Success Club out of usually a lot of people. Granted, it's still a couple of weeks. I think a lot of people will cross that line, but that's a good question. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I had anything else. Oh, I was also just going to share a little bit of background, just a little bit, because I know I'm going to run out, on Jess Ralston. So Jess Ralston she is also a coach under Amber. She's also a 1-star diamond coach. So we started around the same time too. So like on a lot of levels, we're like and hit around the same Success Club numbers. So yeah, she inspires the heck out of me. She is a homeschool mom to 6 kids, and she still is like a beast. Like we're opposite in a lot of ways, but we're similar in a lot of ways. So she pushes out content like it's her job. Like again, she homeschools 6 little kids all day, every day, and moms them, right? Her husband is also an entrepreneur, so he's working a lot. And she's still so consistent with her posts, so consistent with her lead generation. She does stories every single day. Like, and she's honest, she's raw, love her to death. So she inspires me to like just take more action, even if it's a little imperfect, which I need. And I am like the yin to her yang because I help her focus on sometimes being more mindful and maybe using her time more wisely than pushing out more content, to instead spend that time maybe following up or inviting people, because that is where I find to get the most actual business coming in, versus just throwing more stuff out there and expecting people to come to you. So we make a really good team. We've been kind of partnering up a lot. She doesn't have a lot of coaches that are serious about working the business. They kind of just dabble. So that's why she really like wants to be plugged into a growing team. And hopefully at some point she'll have some workers to plug into the calls too, but she's excited to hop onto our calls, to just soak it up, and I'm sure she'll be able to contribute a lot too, which I'm excited for. So just want to share a little bit of background as to who she is and why she's playing. So anyways, okay, I think that's it. Any other questions or struggles or anything? Or celebrations? I always feel like all of a sudden I'll get off these calls and I'll look on the back office. I was like, hello, why didn't anyone tell me this?
I wish.
Yeah. Oh, and I was going to say too that it's the months where you are getting a lot of crickets on your posts and you're seeing people watch, but they're not doing anything about it. These are the months where it's even more important to just reach out to people. And it's not always like reaching out to them to invite them. Of course, that's important too, but especially if you see them on your stories every single day, like they know what you're up to. So sometimes just like reaching out to them and asking them how they're doing, or looking at their profile to see if there's, anything going on in their life that you can just talk to them about, just like open up that conversation. Not because a lot of times I find that sometimes it's breaking the ice that is the hardest for people. So just starting up a conversation is usually, and again, in COVID, especially round 1, people were craving that. People are craving like just conversation with people, and to feel seen and heard and to have an outlet. So yeah, I know it's something that we all kind of procrastinate on, at least I do. But it is more important. People appreciate more than ever to say, hey, how are you handling all this? I was thinking of you today. That's really all that you need to say, because you were thinking of them. You saw them hawking on your stories again, right? Like you're not making anything up.
True. I know last weekend I
Sometimes
just had to follow up with all of my people that have signed up or showed interest, just to like check in, and just because I hadn't done that for a while. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when I started, I did that at least every month. I would go back through and contact everyone that expressed interest. And sometimes it was like, hey, we're having a sale, but sometimes it was just like, how are you doing? Just wanted to check in, something like that. So yeah. Sometimes you get crickets, but again, they notice. Because a lot of people, it's funny because I did follow-ups last night, a lot of follow-ups. And like to some people who told me that they need accountability, like I use that to my advantage. Or they told me that they're a procrastinator. I'm like, because I know you're a procrastinator, I know you need a deadline. So, and then she right away is like, oh my God, it's like, you know me already. I'm like, I'm a procrastinator. I know how we're wired. Let's go. So sometimes just using whatever you know about them, to make them realize that you really do want to help them and you get it. So anyways, I could ramble on forever, but I feel like the longer I make these go, then the less likely people watch it. So I gotta stop it. I'm gonna stop